Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Muddy Waters podcast, where we call out the scams and demystify misinformation. And it may surprise you to know the greatest single source of personal misinformation is our own human memories. Realizing that our memory affects our perceptions, it influences how we respond to situations, even shapes our own self perception, the decisions we make. It even defines our identity. But we need to know that the memory construct is imperfect. In its core, it involves the manipulation, integration, and reconstruction of information during the encoding, the initial exposure, the consolidation, the placement within synapses, and the eventual retrieval of things we experience in our life. According to Dr. Ebbinghaus's theory, it's called the forgetting curve. This will surprise you, surprised me. At least half the information that we receive is lost or compromised within the first hour of decoding it. The single greatest source of misinformation may, in fact, be our own memories. The following stories are true stories. Like so many, Nadeen Cool, a nurse's aide in Wisconsin, sought the help of a therapist. Her daughter had experienced a traumatic event, which we won't get into out of respect for the family. And Nadeen Cool found herself having difficulty coping. So, yeah, like so many do, sought out professional help. Engaged with the psychiatrist. And over the course of sessions, the psychiatrist introduced hypnotherapy to unlock some of the deeper feelings that Nadeen Cool had expressed in their sessions. Eventually incorporated other suggestive therapy techniques. So listen to this. Through the course of her therapy, Nadeen Cool became convinced she'd been part of a satanic cult growing up. She recalled eating babies, having sex with animals. She came to believe that she had more than 120 personalities within her, including angels, demons, children, adults, even a duck. And I don't mean to laugh at this, but it's so unbelievable that it defies logic, but it happened. The psychiatrist even performed multiple exorcisms. One of them lasted over 5 hours. This is not an isolated case. In Mississippi in 1992, a church counselor helped Beth Rutherford to remember that her father, a clergyman, had regularly raped her between the ages of 7 and 14. She became convinced that she'd been impregnated at least 2 times. Once, her father forced her, listen to this, to abort the fetus with a coat hanger. It won't surprise you to learn that in both of these cases, which resulted in multi-million-dollar court case settlements, none of the memories were real. As I mentioned in the opening, the goal is to demystify misinformation, and all of us, myself included, unknowingly can spread misinformation based on our own compromised memories. So this episode is about the memory construct and how it's so easily fooled. Here's an example. Elizabeth Loftus from the University of Washington has been researching memory since 1970. So what does that make that, 54 years? One of her studies highlighted the misinformation effect in memory. In this study, they created a fictitious car accident video and showed this video to the study's participants. Half of those participants were then told and suggested that the cause of the accident, instead of the stop sign that actually appeared in the video, that it was actually a yield sign. And the yield sign is what caused the traffic accident to occur. When interviewed later, Nearly every one to a person of that 50% of the study participants recalled a yield sign and not a stop sign, which was untrue. Loftus herself and her team have conducted over 200 experiments on 20,000 people on how misinformation leads to memory distortion. Here's some examples of what memory distortion can look like. It can include, as in the two cases I cited, false childhood memories. It can lead to imagination inflation, where we place things created by our feelings, emotions, imaginations into a memory event that enhances and can dramatically change the actual recall, the factual recall of that event. Triangulation can occur. Let's say you and three or four of your friends are at a sporting event and a fight breaks out. And each person in that friend group remembers a different detail. You may not have been paying full attention, although you saw what happened, and your memory can be influenced by those who more strongly assert their position and their memories of what occurred. Impossible memories, such as recalling things that happened in the first year of your life. Listen, the hippocampus is not fully formed in the first year of your life. And the hippocampus is responsible for forming and categorizing and cataloging those memories. So how could you recall something that your brain has not yet formed the ability to record? Harvard Medical School, in an excellent study they published in 2018, defines the ways we become vulnerable to false memories. One of them being transience, and recognizing the fact that memory is in fact transient. It's a use it or lose it scenario. And this is because our brain is constantly bringing out the broom and sweeping. It's sweeping up the old dust, those memories that we don't frequently call upon. Our brain terms as unnecessary, and maybe it pushes it to the side, maybe it sweeps it out altogether. It's only those things that either you use regularly or new and more pertinent information that the brain prioritizes. So that transient nature of memory is one effect. Inattentiveness being a second. How many times have we, myself included, misplaced our keys or our coffee cup and we wander around the house looking for it? Most often this is because we were thinking about something else and we didn't prioritize setting down the coffee cup or where we placed the keys because we were focused on something else. And then an hour, half hour, 5 minutes later, we realize, hey, where's my coffee cup? And we go wandering around the house like it, feeling like an idiot looking for it. It's because we're distracted. We're not attentive in the moment. Our mind is somewhere else. Live scene goes further. And what it identifies is the fact that when any memory is first recorded, our own feelings, reactions, inferences, emotions, sounds, smells, all are recorded with that memory. And depending on what state of mind we're in as that event occurs that we record, it can influence the recording of that event, right? Even what we watch and who we listen to affects our memory. According to a 2019 Healthline article, get this, adults who watch 3.5 hours or more of television experience an 8 to 10% decrease in verbal memory over 6 years, leading to cognitive decline. Now, if you don't know, verbal memory is our ability to encode, retain, and recall written or spoken information. Pretty key when the majority of our life we spend communicating with, through others, reading, learning, right? So the impact of false memories can have on your life can lead to legal criminal issues. Take the 1989 case of 6 people accused of murdering a young woman. After police employed suggestive questioning techniques, 5 of the 6 people confessed. In fact, Two even recalled very specific memories about the murder. But years later, when DNA tests were run, all six were cleared. Um, Even when it's not so significant, it's the smaller things in life, not being accused of murder, but mistakes we make at work or at home, misperceptions, misreads on situations, even our own health and well-being is affected by memories, memories driving our thoughts, perceptions, and behaviors, right? So what do? How do you validate memories? The easiest and most important, but yet often elusive, is to look for independent corroborating evidence, right? Photographs, videos, trinkets, souvenirs, even, if you keep a diary, reading your diary, your journals, right? Um, and also avoiding the confirmation biases associated with informational echo chambers that reinforce what may be a misperception, misunderstanding, or even a flawed memory. Lacking independent corroboration, sort through the memory and look for fuzziness, fogginess versus clarity and distinct feelings, sensations associated. Try to recreate the sounds, emotions that occurred at the time of the memory and see if you can. And if it feels like you're looking through fogged glasses after taking a shower, maybe it's not the trustable memory you may have thought it was. So how do you improve your memory? John Medina published a remarkable book called Brain Rules, and he goes back to the ancient days where, we were wandering the savannas looking for food. And hardwired into our primitive brains is the need for movement and how movement leads to survival. It improves blood flow, improves sleep, uh, builds new brain cells. It even can increase brain volume. And movement being key to living, to survival, is also key to good and clear thought. Mental activities, building your own, as an example, memory palace. Three key principles associated with that. And with encoding and successfully recalling important memories. Mnemonics, anchoring, and repetition. What do I mean by those? So mnemonics, you know, I grew up in the 80s, started in business late 80s, and it was the world of acronyms, right? Everybody had, hey, we're a smart company because we're specific, measurable, appropriate, realistic, time bound. But in fact, as annoying as acronyms can be, they're mnemonics, right? So when something's important, think about creating a mnemonic for it and repeat that mnemonic. That's where repetition comes in. There's a reason why when you go to Disneyland and you park in their parking structures, there's a reason why they repeat where you've parked 3 times, because it's been scientifically proven that repeating something at least 3 times is a key to retention. Anchoring. In the memory palace, one of the concepts is anchoring important memories to things you already remember. So take a place you're familiar with. Your home's a great example. You might have a hallway. In that hallway, you might create a photo gallery and take a mental snapshot, visualize something you're trying to remember, and take that mental photo of it and place that mental photo in a hallway that you regularly walk up and down throughout the day. Every time you walk through that hallway, look to the wall where you place that mental photo and see it in your mind's eye and see the details of that photo. That's what's called anchoring. Um, Obviously, develop and honor your routines, right? Everything from where you put your keys, where you set your coffee cup, to the morning routines that you have, visualization being a super important one. Of course, the value of sleep and healthy diet can't be overstated. And listen, as a sidebar, if you have trouble sleeping, my wife and I recently began recording sound healing meditation sessions. These are with crystal bowls or Tibetan singing bowls. Um, Here's a little bit of science behind it. Our bodies are an estimated 50 to 60% liquid, water. Sound healing reaches into the body and resonates in that 50 to 60% of us. It encourages and stimulates blood circulation, healing within the body. And yeah, super relaxing and aids in sleep. I placed a link to a YouTube video my wife and I recorded last night, 24-minute session in sound healing. And I challenge all of you, especially if you have trouble relaxing, trouble sleeping, maybe you're dealing with some stressful situations, purpose yourself for 24 minutes, whether it's during the day or as you lay down in bed and get ready to go to sleep. Play this YouTube recording and close your eyes and just let the sounds resonate. And then tell me if you do it. Tell me how it affected your sleep, because I've had some of the best sleep of my life. I wake up focused, attentive, energetic. My mind feels sharper. It's made a significant impact in my life and our lives. So I hope you'll try it. In sum, the memory construct is easily corruptible. Whether intentionally, in the cases of Nadeen Cool and others, whether inferentially through the suggestive techniques, questioning techniques, triangulation that may occur in our life, or unintentionally, just in the course of living our lives. We encode and retrieve in ways that affect the viability and accuracy of our memories. We have to note that it has an impact on all aspects of our life, who we are as a person, how we interact with others, the perceptions we form, the actions we take. And that's why I wanted to cover this with all of you, because I think memory is something we have to honor and protect. And hopefully this episode highlights the importance, the challenges, and most importantly, what to do to create better memory constructs. So listen, if you enjoyed this episode, I hope you did. I hope you'll like, I hope you'll share, I hope you'll listen again and pick up some new points you may have missed the first round. I hope you'll try out the sound healing video and let me know how it goes for you. I want to thank you for joining me today and have an excellent day.